Welcome back to another episode of the Junk Monkeys podcast. I'm your host, Randy McLeod, joined by Daniel Mosionier.
Hello.
Bradley Gertzen.
Hey, guys.
And Noah Garbutt.
Hello there.
Hold your sneeze.
I don't have to sneeze anymore.
All right, cool. Thanks.
You not whip the mic around?
Do
you know what that does to me in editing, you goddamn freak?
Does it actually fuck
Yes.
things up?
Well, because there's wind noise.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just like force of habit.
I believe it.
Because
All right.
I can't just like sit still.
It's okay, Noah. We forgive you. So anyway, I want to welcome everybody in, and welcome to this episode of the Junk Monkeys podcast.
Yay. I think that was a perfect
All
transition.
right, cool. Hey, what's up, everyone?
Hello, Randy.
Hey, Dan, how you doing?
I'm Danielle, not Dan.
Oh, sorry.
We've had this conversation many times.
Hey, Danielle.
It's not. Okay.
Okay.
No, it is me that
Daniel.
Daniel. People in college, I had a friend who called me, he was like, oh, what's your last name? Daniel Mariachi Band? I'm like, close enough.
Daniel Moisturizer.
Basically. That got Randy. Holy shit. It was funny.
My worst one is Randy McLeod.
What?
I'm like, where did you get the O?
Randy McCloister.
It's EO. Where did you get the OY?
When I was what?
Randy McClitoris.
No.
When I was younger, I had no idea. Like before I had met you,
Yeah.
I had seen your last name before.
Sure.
But I didn't know it was McLeod because it doesn't look like McLeod.
It doesn't.
So I'd be like, oh, McLeod,
Yeah.
and it sounds Randy McLeod. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's typically like McLeod.
In my mind, I always like butcher your last name and just go McLeod.
For some reason, I always think that there's no R in Gertzen, even though there's clearly
Dude,
an R.
I've heard
Gotson?
Gortzen so many times. Gortzen is all the time.
I've always thought it was like
Bramley
the R
Gortzen.
was silent for some
So it's
reason.
like Geertsen?
No, the R wouldn't be silent. It just wasn't appearing in the last
Didn't
name.
exist.
So I always did like Goetz and
Like when you were younger and
yeah. Well, when I first met Mike,
like last week.
I just learned this. I was checking out the Teams chat and it said Bradley Gortz and
Geertsen.
Geertsen. Welcome back, everyone. We wanted to chat this week.
We're chatting.
Remember how like 2 weeks ago we were like, oh man, there was this great Hobbies episode that we did, but it got lost to the sands of time.
It did not get lost in the
in the
sands of
sauce.
time.
It got lost to my hard
It
drive.
got lost in the sands of Randy's shit ass hard drive.
Don't know what happened. Well,
You-
guess what? We loved that conversation so much
Uh-huh.
that we decided to come back and do it again.
Yes.
Rewind.
This is the third re-recording of an episode
Junk
in the Junk
Monkeys
Monkeys
Rewind.
history.
Getting good
And
at
why, Randy, has it happened 3 times? Can you tell us the cause of every single one? No.
I can't actually. I don't know what's wrong.
No, I mean,
It's me.
yeah.
Yeah, it's me.
It's me.
It's not you, it's your hard drive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you need to get a new one.
I know. Money's tight.
I was going to say, it's expensive.
It's expensive. But yeah,
Christmas.
we really dug it because it was like, I think we got into like, you know what, we're going to get into it today. I'm not even going to spoil the conversation
we're not
we're about
going.
to have, even though I know the conversation
Randy was
kind of.
like, I'm just going to explain this whole podcast.
Yeah. So basically, Dan then said,
he has a spare recording. He just puts his earphones in, says the whole podcast, and we're just here like,
wait,
All
did you
right.
have the recording the entire time?
what the fuck?
So we're going to go around. We're going to talk about like what we're interested in, our hobbies, and maybe like, you know what, honestly, Noah and I were chatting a bit earlier today. Some new ones going to get peppered in, okay? From last time. Today we're talking about hobbies.
Oh, yo.
And our interests and everything we like to do in our spare time.
Woo.
So I think last time we recorded this, I started.
I can't remember what like our pathing was.
No,
I know
I
I didn't go first.
I don't think it was Brad that went
I don't
first.
particularly.
So I kind of want Brad to start.
Sure.
Because typically we leave you for last, and I don't mean to, but we do.
Okay,
I apologize.
Well, so you want to get it going?
Yeah, Brad,
I
you
want
go
you,
first.
I want you to talk about what you're interested in, man.
I'm just interested in life, man.
Hell yeah,
I'm,
man.
Oh,
probably
man.
Weed.
Bro.
Yeah, he's high. He's high
smoke
right
weed
now.
all the time. No, probably like video games and music for sure. I was into art a little bit as a child. Fun fact.
Oh.
I drew my sister a panda ages ago.
Aww.
It was
Don't
kind of
laugh, that's cute.
It was pretty cute.
Oh.
Laughing at him.
Oh.
Okay, for the audience at home, real quick, I
Okay.
wasn't laughing at Brad. Noah's trying to put his chair back, and he's trying to do it stealthily, but he fucked it up, and I was laughing at him, and Randy's blind, so he's like, don't laugh at
I
Bradley.
focused on Brad.
I was so worried I was gonna fall.
Sorry. Sorry.
So Panda.
Panda, right? Panda. Yeah, so I drew a panda, and she still keeps it in her house and stuff because she's a great sister.
Aw.
Shout out to Cassie, who's listening to the podcast
Hell
right
yeah,
now.
Gazzy.
Timestamps everything in here.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Cheetah best.
These are my favorite moments from the episode.
Yeah, it's super cute. I love
There's
it.
nothing.
Just this one sucked, guys.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
I didn't make it through.
I like
this one.
the ending where it ends.
I like the ending where you have to listen to it anymore.
Sorry.
Yeah, art I guess was fun, and then I kind of lost passion for it when Mr. Lamont started teaching it to me.
Really?
Yeah, it never really got me going.
Oh,
with it.
that's-
I think it was just structured art.
That's
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
I think it might
I
have been what
agree.
it is.
I
hate
have
it being like,
issues
you have
with
to draw this
structured
shit.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you can listen to our post-secondary episode to hear more about that.
Yes. I hate structured stuff.
Brad, that's really interesting.
No one
Like,
just fucking hates buildings.
is there any other like interest that you
concrete.
might have had that got like I don't know, squashed?
Or like
Pushed
lost
aside.
interest in. I used to play Magic the Gathering all the time. Fun
Really?
fact.
I
yeah,
remember
like all the
that.
time. I used to go to drafts like every
Oh,
weekend
shit.
with Mike.
Oh, fuck.
I didn't know about this.
Mike must have spent $120.
I remember you
plus.
guys were obsessed with that, like pack draws and stuff, and
Yeah.
trying to make your money back on them.
So
and
much
everything.
fun. And so I obviously like that, and then I guess D&D is something that's kind of gone to the side for me, mostly because I'm so busy and it's just
Yeah.
it's a big time consumption thing.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've always find I get hobbies and then I just like can't stick them through, or like I don't like I always like fall in love with something, I'm obsessed with it, and then I just fall out of love with it.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's weird. I don't know what it is. Like I was really into reading for a while, and I kind of fell off that, and then it's like all this other stuff. But I don't know. The only ones that really stuck for sure is video games and music, and even video games I have like down parts of, which
Yeah.
I think everyone does.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing.
Well, I mean, like to your point about like falling in and out of hobbies.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you might like ebb and flow out of them, but like it's not ever gone.
No, for sure.
You know, like you could still pick up a guitar anytime.
For sure.
It doesn't mean like just because you haven't played a guitar in 3 months doesn't mean like it's not my hobby anymore. Yeah, me. Exactly. Me.
I looked right at Randy.
Absolutely.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm heavily influenced by like the media I take in all the time. I notice that. Like when I start like I'll watch a show I really like with like an interest in it. Like watch some anime about painting for some reason. That was like a limited series. I think that's pretty cool. I just will soak it out because it's like 6 episodes. And I was like, oh, painting's so sick. I could be an artist. Then I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Or like when I was a kid, you'd like watch a fighting movie or like an action movie, and do like sick kicks around, like, oh yeah, trying to do backflips and shit. That was awesome. So I feel like that's a big part of what I've fallen in and out of love with things for.
Side story. Broke my neck as a kid. Doing my backflips off my bed.
Still waiting for TMNT to fucking give me some money back.
Or me and Mike used to watch wrestling all the time, and then he would just like pile drive me.
Everybody.
It
Go
was
back
a
to the
must.
time that my brother swanton bombed me off the fucking pool table.
RKO'd so many times as a child. Outrageous. That's not even a
Still
joke.
waiting for money from Mike.
Still waiting for money from the Wrestling Federation.
I contacted
From Mike. He sued his brother. Get absolutely
Remember
fucked.
when you fucking hit me when I was a kid?
I'm pressing
That
charges
is-
for emotional damage.
It's like sticking out with your promises when your brother hits. I'm gonna fucking sue you. 15 years later.
Yeah, you go through like legal college.
I told you, bro.
I told you, no cap.
You go to law school specifically for the intent of suing your sibling. You do it, you win, you never pursue law again.
Determination.
so
That
petty.
sounds like a hobby.
It would be a hobby
Sounds like
at
a
that point.
vendetta.
Sounds like a mental illness.
It should be like a movie, I think.
Yeah.
We would make the worst movies.
Yeah, that'd be great.
They'd
Wanna
be
make a
so
movie
scuffed,
one day.
man. They'd be so ruined. That'd just be the worst thing ever.
It'd be 4 hours of it'd be 3 hours of little Bradley getting RKO'd by Mike, an hour of him studying at law school, 45 minutes of a legal case, like Better Call Saul, and then it would just the end.
I want like half the movie just to be Bradley like getting RKO'd and being in
It's like
in all the, like these other like wrestling moves. Then we just have like a quick like 5-minute montage,
Like
of
a
him,
Rocky montage.
growing up, studying for Harvard Law, graduating.
Harvard Law. Holy
Damn
shit.
right.
And then the rest of it is just the legal case.
just like
Worst
a
movie
world
you-
star compilation of me getting fucked up. I'm like,
We got so derailed.
That's interesting though. That like media kind of like. Well, I mean, fucking, I watched a coral documentary and I thought I was interested in coral.
Yeah,
you
I know.
But like honestly, like anything can influence it.
Yeah, yeah,
like
for
any of your
sure.
hobbies. Like I don't know. I watched a bunch of the Chef Show, and now I'm really into cooking.
I guess
Good
it's
skill to
another-
have.
Yeah.
That's another hobby that I fell in love with again is cooking. For
Yeah.
sure. I was Gordon Ramsay, the homie, man. Mom used to put on Master Chef. I was just sitting there, I want to
Hell
whip
yeah.
that shit up.
You just drinking that shit up.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
You liked cooking quite a bit when you first moved out, didn't you? You're like trying to learn.
Yeah. That was kind of something that was like, oh, okay, well, I have to do this, otherwise I die.
Yeah.
Might as well make it enjoable for myself.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
might
eating
as well
craft dinner every night.
have some fun with this. So
I'm
I
ragging on craft dinner. Don't sue us.
Yeah, oh, come on, man. I'll back it up. But yeah, I kind of was like, okay, well, I mean, that was basically like I'd be sitting in college and I'd be like, oh, I'm bored. So I would like look up recipes. I'm like, what am I making tonight? How do I make fried chicken? I'm going to make fried chicken tonight.
Yeah.
You know?
And I, no cap, I think food is always better when you make it. Like I always feel like I
There's
make
a
something
rewarding
and I'm like,
sense
this
there.
shit slaps so
Yeah.
fucking hard. I'd be ass and I just
I'm
love
gonna
it.
say no. I made some like chicken wings, and I feel like dog shit after eating them.
Severely undercooked.
Dude, I do this.
I
this,
don't think I
Shit
cooked
was
them long
pink,
enough.
bro.
I do
Got
this,
salmonella.
I thought that was the sauce.
I do this disgusting thing sometimes.
Oh, God.
Right, you fucking. I'm down in raw chicken.
Now, hold on. Is this gonna be something that was from like Hot Takes?
No, this is like food thing.
Okay.
I make pork chops. So I make pork chops and like butter baste them with like
Okay.
rice and then like just a fucking raw carrot because I'm lazy. And then I just pour the butter just all over the rice. It's like a pool at the bottom of the plate. I just scarf
Oh.
it down. I'm a little,
It's not that
dirty dog.
bad.
That was
It's not
disgusting.
terrible.
I
It's
wouldn't
not
do it,
terrible.
but it doesn't sound that bad.
It's pretty unreal to be honest.
I'm really, really a fan. Like,
Now, Brad, before I move on to the next person, I do want to ask, is there a hobby that you would like to pursue hard? Or, like, is there a hobby that, like, you want to pick up but you haven't really gotten into yet?
I'd say like probably music production. I tried creating video games at one point. I was coding for a little while.
Whoa,
That was
that's
the thing I
cool.
used to do. I don't know. I looked at a YouTube video. I was like, this is fucking dope.
Yeah.
And I got stuck into a YouTube hole of like, oh, I made this game and this is how I did it.
Yeah.
It was super, super fun. And then I was just like, wow, this is tedious.
really hard.
It was also really hard.
This
and
is tricky.
I was in the middle of school, so I never did it again. But I'd like to like obviously retry that. That'd
Yeah.
be cool to make your own little world, like an indie game or
I want to
something
make
like
a
that.
game, man.
That's
I
something.
keep
Let's make
thinking
a
about it
game.
all the time. Yeah, we should. You do music.
We have that's the thing is getting the people to do it. But we have quite a lineup.
We do have quite the skill set.
Writer,
Yeah.
musician, and sound. Mike and Brad could do coding.
Yep.
Noah could do art.
Yeah.
'Cause
And then we could do
you're an
voice lines.
artist.
I've
like,
done some 3D modeling.
like we've
shit.
got a team here.
We do have a little
We're putting a team together.
Junk Monkey podcast canceled. We're now a video game.
Video game
studio.
developer.
That'd be hilarious.
The first video game developer in fucking Manitoba.
the Junk Monkey Studio, man.
Hell yeah, man.
It's actually that sounds like a very believable indie studio.
It really does.
Junkyard.
You know
The
what?
junkyard.
The
That's,
junkyard.
that's what we call our office.
Yeah.
The junkyard. Hell yeah.
And we're actually at a junkyard.
It
we can't
sucks.
afford anything else.
We have one laptop.
They're shitty Wi-Fi.
Smells
Stealing
horrible.
from, stealing from a McDonald's down the street.
Brad, go get the Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, go, go, go.
What do you mean you forgot the Wi-Fi extender?
Noah.
Wait, Brad, you didn't talk about guitar though.
Oh well, obviously I love guitar. You watch the whole podcast on it.
Brad
Shit
Brad
slaps,
plays
man.
guitar.
I do the guitar. I do that sometimes. I guess I really want to learn piano as well. I got a piano. Haven't fallen
I've played
into
this
that hole
piano.
of it.
A little keyboard.
Yeah, so eventually I got to do some things. I was learning, I don't know, that cup song. I'm trying to learn the chords for that, and I
yes.
was like, I kind of got into that, and then school happened again because it always happens. So yeah,
Isn't that interesting that like I'm sure I brought this up at the last time we fucking talked about this, but like in the way I see it, you can only have two things going on.
mm-hmm.
Like there are three things going on all the time usually, and you can only do two of them.
yeah,
So like school, work, and hobbies.
mm-hmm.
And when you're in school, typically school and work take up all your time.
yeah,
And you don't have time for hobbies. In the summer, you got work and hobbies, and you don't have school, thankfully. But like, yeah, but Dan, you're out of school, so you got work and hobbies.
Yep.
Yeah,
But my hobbies and work have really cascaded into one thing.
right.
And I'm scared, just in case I get burnt out.
I was gonna
But
say
it's going good so far. I
Good.
haven't come anywhere close to that.
as long as you recognize that could be an issue.
Yeah.
yeah.
like you
It's-
can
it's a
take steps to
balance.
prevent
I
that.
work to avoid it.
Yeah.
So.
It is still a balance, and like you should still have like other hobbies outside of the hobbies that coincide with work.
Mm-hmm.
Just so if you do end up getting burnt out, then you can still designate that as work.
Yeah.
And then you still have backups to fall.
That's what I'm scared of, man. I'm scared of like getting into the video game industry or whatever, and like, you know, like, oh shit, you got to review this game. I'm like, okay, cool.
It's a slog.
Yeah, I don't want to play this right now. I want to go, like I'm scared of that, but whatever. I mean, like, and that would be a first world problem and a half. You know what I mean? I don't want to play a video game and get paid for it. Like,
But no, that's a very real concern.
Yeah.
It's gotten to the point with me where I don't see the work I'm doing as a composer as work.
Oh.
Well, I've been composing since high school. I'm gonna do it regardless. I don't, by and large, sit down and I don't sit down and okay, I got to do work today.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I got an idea. I'm gonna write something, and then I do.
That's great.
And if it's good enough, it turns into work. But it doesn't turn into work. It's just like, hey, this is my new piece. I'm gonna give this to you. But I was gonna write that regardless of whether or not they were like, hey, you got to write music.
Yeah.
So, but
regardless if you had a deadline or not.
yeah. But you're right. You gotta be like hyper aware of like, oh, am I getting burnt out? I gotta stop.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to like. Take
No,
it too
Dan,
much.
I genuinely wanted to go to you next.
No,
So
okay,
please,
cool.
Please.
I got. It's funny that you guys talked about the media influencing what your hobbies are and things like that, because that's the only reason I played cello, is because I'd seen it in videos and I really liked it and I liked the sound of it. But I started learning cello, got okay at it, but I burnt myself out of it really, really hard. I haven't played cello in like over a year.
Oh shit.
Well, I played a couple weeks ago, but previous to that, I hadn't played in like over 12 months because it wasn't fun anymore. Because I was doing it so hard and I was learning so hard and taking my lessons so seriously and not having fun with it. It became like work.
It was a chore.
It was a chore,
Yeah.
and I didn't enjoy it, so I just didn't play cello anymore. But what's up?
I was just gonna say maybe that's my problem with hobbies is that I dive so deep and like I'm like a little sprint instead of a marathon for my hobbies.
You're putting it all on red when you should be spreading it out.
Yeah,
across.
exactly.
maybe.
It's something that you can't rush. Like
Yeah,
having
like even-
hobbies, like you can get into it super quickly, but if you get into it too quickly, then it almost feels
If you don't pace yourself
yeah, like hobbies are something that you're supposed to have
forever.
Forever.
Almost.
Yeah,
so
totally.
like you have forever to
Exactly.
do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it all at the beginning.
It's such a double-edged sword with what I would do with music, though, because when you're playing a musical instrument, especially for me, since I'm super competitive and you all know that,
Yeah.
there's a drive to be good. And when I'm not good at the cello, it bothers me, and then it makes me want to do more, but that burns me out quicker.
Yeah.
And then because I'm getting burnt out quicker, I'm not playing as well, and I'm not doing as much as I should be, and then I feel bad, so I go harder, and you just drive yourself into the fucking earth.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, you just keep doing that until you're just like, nope.
It's
fuck,
literally a cycle.
nope,
And then you
screw
quit.
this.
Exactly. And then that's what happened to me with cello.
Totally. Like that is the worst thing I have. Like one of my fatal flaws, honestly, is I start something and I'm like, but I'm not perfect at it yet.
So I got to keep going.
Yeah.
No. I get frustrated because I'm like,
Oh.
well, I'm not amazing at this, so
I'm not
Fuck it.
innately
I'm not
good
going
at
to
it.
get there.
Yeah.
Even though you've only been doing it for a week.
exactly
A month. Like,
exactly.
It's like impatience.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy because I think everybody has that problem where they see someone else that's so good at something and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to be good. But like the way like you can see the most amazing people do the craziest things. Like you look up any hobby and you see the most like excellent representation.
That's what I was
of
about
it.
to say. Like,
but it's like it's okay to be mid, man. It's okay
yeah,
to be okay.
yeah. Like the stuff you see on YouTube is the stuff that has made the final cut because it's the best shot.
Yeah.
It's the best way to see this thing that you are looking up.
Yeah.
So like a cooking video, they're not going to show you the fuck ups.
No.
They're going to show you the perfectly seared steak.
Yeah.
They're
you know
not
what I
gonna,
mean?
They're not going to show you like the hundreds of other ones that
He fucked up before.
Yeah.
that they messed up.
Totally.
You also are seeing, in a lot of cases, like for music, for example, and it translates to other things, you're seeing decades of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I watch Tommy Emmanuel play guitar, he's in his like 60s, and he's been playing since he was like 5. I'm seeing 50 years of experience. I've been playing for like 6.
Yeah.
But because I'm not as good as the music that I want to play, I feel bad, and
Yeah.
then you just go even harder for me, and then it gets. So it's a combination of that, and you're seeing decades of experience in most cases of people who are posting their things to YouTube.
Yeah,
and stuff
you
like
can't
that.
you can't compare yourself to the inspiration that got you into it.
Oh, but it's so easy to
It
do.
is
But
so
It's
easy to.
really easy to because you want to.
Yeah,
Because you want to be like that person.
Well,
but that person has spent years.
You're not going to get there anytime soon, and that's okay.
Oh.
But it doesn't feel okay.
Yeah. I just watched a fucking movie called Tick Tick Boom on Netflix.
I saw your tweet about this.
Yeah.
a good movie.
And like genuinely it talks about. Have you watched it, Brad?
I have watched it. Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking awesome,
it's a
right?
really good movie. Yeah.
It talks about like the creative struggle of like looking at so basically it's about Jonathan Larson, the guy that created the play Rent. Fantastic, right? But like he talks about like, oh, I'm turning 30. Fucking this guy had this done when he was in his 20s.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
like this guy was amazing when he was 18.
Yeah.
Bach was playing fucking piano when he was 4 or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, and shit like that, right?
Mozart completed his first symphony at 9.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, and when it's that comparative problem where like you can't. It's like you have to have that patience, and like odds are you may not succeed at the thing you set out to do,
Yeah.
but you will find something along the way that will.
I think that's the biggest thing to take is like the journey you learn so much from. Also about Tick Tick Boom, that soundtrack slaps. It's a really good song. You should watch it just for the soundtrack if you want to listen to good music one day. It's on Netflix, I think. Slap out some Tick Tick Boom. Pretty gas.
Tick tick boom.
But yeah, I think it's like the thing with hobbies is like you do them and you get maybe a little bit better, but I feel like you learn quite a bit. Even just know a little bit about something, it's like you still learn something. There's nothing wrong with that. I know when I was learning guitar, I started off with like a book, which I think was like the greatest thing ever because it was like I just saw how to do it. I didn't see someone do it.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
So then, like when I went into YouTube and I was like exploring other things, it was like it'd be like a 6-minute video. It's like super easy beginner thing, and I'm like I'm like, what the fuck?
This is not easy. No, you're right. Yeah.
It's not easy at all.
Yeah, super
and they
easy
make it look
beginner thing done by somebody who
Who
has
is not a
20
beginner?
who is not a
Exactly.
beginner.
Yeah.
Yes.
no.
So like it's easy for them, but
Yeah, no, it's for sure like that. Randy, maybe one time you should try it out in a book. Maybe you should take my little beginner book if you want to try it.
I do have a book, believe it or not.
I learned how to play Jingle Bells. First song. I learned.
Hey, I
That's-
think the
that's
first song
hype.
it tries to teach you in the book that I have is "Smoke on the Water."
Oh yeah.
because I did guitar very briefly, and
Really?
that was long time ago.
Okay.
long time ago, and that
Many
was
moons ago.
that was one of the songs that I learned,
Yeah.
and I learned that and then stopped, and then I have no idea how to do it again.
Well, yeah, that was my thing. I would go from like "Smoke on the Water" and be like, okay, I can try fucking Passengers, like, you know, and
I
like,
just let it go. Hurt by Johnny Cash.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dan. I want to get back to, first of all, the opening question of what are your hobbies?
That was a bit of a derail.
Yeah.
But that was an
Well,
important.
no, it's
that was an important conversation.
There's
Yeah,
a difference
because-
between hobbies and creative what's the word? Progression of like yourself. You know, like using a hobby to better yourself.
Yeah.
You know. Sorry, Dan. Hobbies.
up? Oh,
what kind of hobbies you got?
I do music, man.
Yeah.
That's my main one, as everyone knows. I make music. I play guitar and cello and bass and the ukulele and the flute and a little bit of violin and a little bit of drums. And then I also
Sorry, I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
Is it
Just
true
put
that
aside up
once
as
you
well.
learn one instrument, it starts getting easier, like languages?
depends
learn other ones?
because there's two different avenues. There's the actual practical learning of an instrument, and then there's theory.
Yeah.
Theory from okay, on a very broad perspective, and if there's any musicians listening, they're probably going to crucify me. But theory is by and large, if you remove the instrument, theory is the same for everything.
Yeah.
Now it depends if you go to like a different part of the world. Like here we use 12 tone equal temperament, so our scales are split into 12 notes with 12 notes between each octave. In some other parts of the world, they don't use 12 tone equal temperament. They use 18
Isn't it cool that
or 24, which is double the amount of ours.
Isn't it cool that music is like a language?
It
In that,
is.
like,
It
it's
really
different
is,
across
yeah.
the world. That's so cool. Anyway.
But the physical theory behind it, because music is just airwaves, right?
Yeah.
No matter where you go, the physical theory remains the same. So, is it true that once you start learning, it gets easier? Yeah. Like it depends on what instrument you start on. Because if you start on, like the piano has a really low skill floor, but it has an extraordinarily one of the highest, not the highest, but one of the highest skill ceilings.
Yeah.
If you start on an instrument that has a really low skill, like the piano is great because it's everything's laid out in front of you, right? The notes are all in a row.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to go higher, you go to the right.
You
wanna
can
go
literally
lower,
see them.
You can literally see, and they're black and white, like they're organized.
Yeah.
So that's a great instrument to start with if you want to learn the theory about it. But if you, Noah had something to say.
Yeah, piano is very easy to get into.
Super hard to do anything cool with, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Piano, actually, I guess the keyboard was one of the first like instruments that my mom put me into music classes
Yeah.
as I was growing up.
It usually
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
And super easy. I still know how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb like 15 years later.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just white keys.
It's all just like muscle memory. Like
Yeah.
I don't have to look at it. I can just like
Just bang it out.
just belt
Yeah.
it out
Yeah.
easily.
We'll name someone who can't play hot cross buns.
I'm sure a lot of people.
I'm pretty sure pretty much everybody could play rock response.
But it would take
However-
5 seconds to teach them how to do
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah.
My brother still does keyboard, and when I lived with my parents and everything, you could hear him practicing and stuff because he's much more dedicated to musical instruments than I ever was. But I would begin to like recognize songs and stuff that he was practicing. Like there was one song from Howl's Moving Castle,
Great movie.
and like I would just be in like the washroom or something doing like just taking a shit or whatever.
Huge log, humongous log.
And I just hear him belting that out. I'm just like, wow, that is like amazing. And like he'd mess up one tone and start from the beginning. I'm just like,
Keep going.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And then Rush E.
Yeah, Rush
I found
E,
that Rush
Jesus
E has
Christ.
been like very popular on the internet for some reason.
It was when
lately.
it was a popular thing.
It just keeps coming up on my feed.
At some
On-
point,
on
yeah, it will.
everything.
Yeah.
And so I thought, oh my god, that's insane.
Yeah.
And then like a few days later, I'd hear him practicing that. And I was like, oh my god.
You can't do it.
I
It's
think
not physically possible.
I think if I was to learn piano, I think my like when you like have the goal of learning a song when you start something.
Yep.
I think my goal would be the Interstellar song, just because it's so
Oh,
gas.
That'd be cool.
That'd be so sweet to learn
Goddamn,
how to
dude.
play.
I gotta watch Interstellar again.
I got it to watch. I got to watch it too.
Sorry,
Brad,
Dan.
Brad, do you know "River Flows in You"?
I think I've heard it before. I wouldn't
That's
be
like
able
my piano goal song.
to- That's your like. This is the one.
Yeah. Just like my guitar. What I was saying though about like piano being easy because it has a low skill floor but a really high skill ceiling. It's different on guitar. It's not laid out the same way.
No.
It's a completely different animal.
Mm-hmm.
But once you understand the theory of chords and like what like chord structure and,
Yep.
and scales, you can translate that to a different instrument. So once you understand the theory, you can apply it to different instruments. It's just difficult based on what instrument it is. Like
It's like hand placement and everything.
Yeah.
Just, okay, the chord from this instrument,
it's nowhere near the same. Like a
it's
C,
not the same thing.
it's not the same thing at all on the guitar.
So instead of doing like this hand movement, I would now have to do this hand movement to get the same
Yeah.
result.
Well, even like instruments that are like close together, like you could say a saxophone and a flute change keys the same way, but
That's
it's
what I'm saying. Like I went from
completely
flute,
different.
and that was horizontal, and then practically the same thing, if just vertical.
Really?
Yeah. It was fantastic.
as long as it's in the same, as long as it's the same key instrument. Eh?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
It was great.
It like keyboard. I like to think of instruments as like difficulty levels
Yeah.
when you start them because keyboard is super easy to get into. Piano super easy to get into. Guitar is harder, but once you get it, it becomes much easier. But then you start getting into things like fretless instruments, like cello was super hard to get into, and it just stays hard. So that's my main hobby. I do digital production.
Okay.
Largely, that's what I do nowadays. Like I still play my instruments all the time, but I do digital production the most.
And you make some killer tracks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
No, that's facts.
Dan, I do have a question though, because obviously you're my music guy.
Yeah. I would
But
hope
like,
so.
what other hobbies you got? Like, what else do we not know about?
I play video games like everybody else here.
Yeah.
Banger.
I don't play video games like you guys do though, because you guys will pick up the newest video games sometimes and play.
Hashtag
You guys should play this game. Go play this game. I play the same games all the time,
That's really interesting.
but they're games that have a lot of replay value.
yeah.
Like in
Like-
depth.
yeah,
Well, I think you and Noah share that, because like Noah's always like, "Oh, yo, I'm playing
starting
Fallout 4 again."
I'm starting my 18th playthrough of Horizon Zero Dawn. So I play
like that.
I play Daisy a lot. I'm doing a Daisy playthrough right now.
How is Daisy's like stance now? I know they
Great.
Had, I know they had a tough start.
Oh yeah, it used to suck.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Super fun.
'Cause
game.
I know it was like a suit. Like when it first came out, it was like humongous.
I
Like,
remember,
it was
yeah.
like
I
a huge
remember when we
game.
played it when it came out, and it was
Well, because Arma was really big when it
Well,
came out.
yeah.
That was the point. It was an Arma mod.
Yeah, and it was super
Really?
duper fun.
Yep.
I didn't know
Daisy
that.
was a mod. It was never a standalone game to begin with. It was a mod for Arma 2, I think.
I think there was another very popular game that was a mod for Arma. I think it might have been like Battlefield or something. If I'm tripping. I don't know. Something.
I don't think.
I don't. I don't. I think
believe
there
it was
something-
the guts of PUBG.
Oh yeah, that was PUBG. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, PUBG was also an Arma 2 mod.
The PUBG controls are like really similar to the Arma controls in Daisy.
The creator of PUBG was the one that made the mod originally, like the Battle Royale mod for Arma.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
Arma 2 is just a crazy game, I guess.
It's just a really good base game to build off of.
Yeah, well, it's just real life.
Basically. What's up, Brian?
What is it about going back to the same game that keeps hooking you back in?
Because they're games that have a lot of replay value. I'm not going to play like little indie platformer games more than once.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to play Ori and the Blind Forest again.
No. Yeah.
Because that was a great game. Loved it. Loved the story. Good platforming. A, I don't like platformers, and B, it's a really story-driven game.
And you've had that experience.
I've had that. I'm not going to go back to it again.
Yeah.
But the point of these games, like Daisy, like Terraria, like Minecraft, even Stardew Valley, really, because I play that game a lot.
Yeah.
They maybe not Stardew Valley is a great example, but those other games, they don't have stories. Daisy has no story. Minecraft has no story.
That's so interesting.
Terraria has a bit of a story, but not really.
Yeah.
And you can just keep going back and having different experiences. Also, I don't play base Daisy. I mod the shit out of it. And my friend Zephyr, you've met Zephyr.
Yeah.
We have a custom server. So we just play by ourselves with a bunch of mods.
that's fun, yeah.
And we just mod the wildlife and bears and wolves and shit to be super duper strong. So it's like, well, how do you play the game? It's a PvP game. Well, when you've got a bear that you need to dump 200 rounds in to kill, and it kills you in 2 hits.
Yeah.
That's fucking scarier than a person. You you can outrun a person. You can't outrun a bear.
Words to live by.
So I don't jump on like a bunch of new games really. I'm still playing like Skyrim. Oh my fuck! I'm playing Skyrim VR right now because I got my Quest 2.
Right,
How-
yeah.
is
We
that-
have to have a.
Is that fire? Is that like
well,
a good game?
When you mod it, yes.
Okay.
Because when you don't mod it, you don't have hands.
You don't have
You,
hands?
you don't have arms. You can see your controllers.
Oh.
You don't have hands. You don't have arms. You can't pick things up. You cannot pick items up. You can, and it goes into your inventory.
How am I supposed
No.
to rob the shopkeeper if I can't put a bucket on his head?
You can't hit signs. You know how you can't like hit signs and have them swing. You can't bump into things. You walk through people.
No.
It's awful. It's literally just ported to VR. I saw a post that was like, "Oh, I bet they made this game in like 2 weeks," and I bet that's true. But with mods, you can have hands and arms, and you can pick things up, and you can put buckets on people's heads, and you can smack
yeah.
signs. And
That must be so fun.
I have a mod that lets you throw your weapon, and when if you're not in combat, it just goes wherever, and you can throw it really far. But if you're in combat, if you aim it well enough, it's like if I was aiming at Noah,
auto hits.
It'll auto hit him, and it does knockback. So you got like a Draugr rushing at you, and it goes to swing at you, and you just go, and it just goes fucking sailing. Oh, it's so fun.
That's awesome.
But I'm still playing Skyrim after the 87th release of it. So
Yeah. I'm glad you're liking the VR headset.
oh, VR is so
It
good.
is
Beat
like
Saber is super fun.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, it is.
I'm probably not going to be able to play with you guys because I don't buy Oculus games.
Oh, you just get like
I buy PC games. I
and
buy
then
Steam
Did you
games.
get? Did
Some,
you do it with
some
the,
of them have crossplay.
Are you doing it with the link cable? Or are you doing the desktop?
I was doing AirLink to begin with because I didn't have a cable, but now I have a cable.
Okay.
and it's better.
Okay.
It is better.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't done the
It's-
I haven't
it's
done
fidelity.
the linker.
Because
Yeah.
with AirLink, you're like relying on a Wi-Fi connection, and it's
Oh,
good.
okay, yeah.
It was fine, but there was some audio or visual fidelity issues where I'm like, I can see the pixels, and it's not as quick as a cable, obviously.
Yeah.
You have to have a really good internet.
You'd have to have 5 gigahertz, which I don't have. So,
Yeah.
but a cable, it's like pristine.
We should have a VR episode.
You know, I'm thinking about it.
I was
Yeah.
literally going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you were literally about to say that before I cut you off.
So I do music. I play video games.
Before I swap off you,
Yeah.
though, I do want to ask, since is there anything else you want to say about music before we move on?
Not really.
No.
We're staring at each other.
All right.
I think that's it. I don't really have any other hobbies. So, but like I said earlier, my work and hobbies, as in music, have sort of melded into one. But to the point where it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy about that.
I do.
That's a great
It's
balance.
really good.
I do envy that quite a lot. That's a dream of mine. One day is to have a hobby that is also work. And it's
That's
awesome. It's awesome to see that you can do that.
I hope it
It's not
sticks.
Something, yeah.
I hope it sticks.
I think
my
it
thing
will.
with-
won't.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna stick.
That's my thing with writing is like I wish that it was fun a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But it's more like I'll be sitting on the couch and I'll be like, fuck, I should be writing. Like, why am I not doing
Do you
that?
think maybe it's not the writing part that you like? It's the creation of a story.
Oh,
that
this
you
is
like?
this is the conversation.
Oh,
that happened last
interesting.
week.
Do you think it's like not maybe the act of writing, but putting the thoughts into a like progressive story that you like?
Yeah, that's my thing is like there's that pressure to okay, you didn't like there I feel I believe there's 2 types of ways to write.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be more than 2 ways, but like 2 main ways in my opinion. There's
Right
one
hand
where
or
you
left
are
hand?
Yeah, right.
I'm ambidextrous, bitch.
3 ways.
I actually write with both hands at the same time.
That's what ambidextrous means.
No, it was like
Oh,
double
that's
fist in a pencil. Double fist in a pencil.
Yeah.
Two-handing the
like you're flying a plane.
Yeah.
there is obsessing over every detail as you go,
Yeah.
or just getting words on a page and then going back and being like, don't need this, want this, and I am very much an obsessive person.
Yeah.
Where like I'll be writing and be like, oh fuck, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's terrifying to write because you're expecting it to be amazing as you write, and that's not at all how you should do that.
I think a lot of creative processes are like that, where it's like if you get too nitpicky on the small things, at the end you won't like it as much. But it's sometimes like a lot of great music just came out from like boom, threw it all on a page, and they're like, oh shit, this slaps. I just got to change a few things here and change a few things there.
I have a point on that though.
Yeah, go for it.
I've seen a lot of examples where musicians, like I have an artist I like to. One of my favorite musicians, their alias is Violet Pony, and they make really really good music, like heart-wrenchingly good music. But the example I go to is that, do you guys remember when "We Are Number One" was a huge meme?
Yeah.
Like from Lazy Town.
Rest in peace.
They made rest in peace. They made a remix. Violet Pony made a remix of "We Are Number One." It was a trap remix. Took him 2 hours. Took her 2 hours. That thing has over, I think it's close to 1 million views now on YouTube.
Holy shit!
Damn
But
right.
but because they pour so much of their heart and soul into their other tracks, and they only get 10,000 views, which is a lot. Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
I'd kill to have Randy. I'd kill you right now to have 10,000 views.
But honestly, I don't blame you.
Yeah, I'd let you kill me.
Yep.
If this episode get 10, I'd slaughter me.
Yep.
Anyways,
Sacrifice.
there's
We have to disclose that at the beginning of the podcast. This
There's-
episode was brought to you by Dan's dad.
Brad, there's a really interesting juxtaposition there where it's disheartening. Success can be disheartening
Oh, for sure.
because they were ranting about it on the Discord very fairly. Why the fuck does my shitty "We Are Number One" trap remix that I did 2 hours on have 700,000 views? But then this soul wrenching, heart wrenching music that I put my blood, sweat, and tears into, that I write about stuff that I care about, only get this many views. Like, I get it. It's the YouTube algorithm. Like, it makes sense from a statistical perspective.
Yeah.
But success can be disheartening. And I just wanted to bring that up.
Now, I would push against that, though, is that, like, one person's success is, yes, views on a YouTube channel.
Sure.
But another person's success is seeing that piece that you spent hours and hours and hours upon, like days. And the personal success of, like, I did this. I made this. And I know it's great. And, yes, seeing 1 million on the view counter would bolster that in me.
sure.
And not seeing it might decrease that in me. But at the end of the day, you created something, and that's something a lot of people cannot do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure, but
In this day and age, views, yeah, that's success.
I feel like that's completely missing the point of what I said, though.
What do you mean?
I don't know. The point. I feel like I'm going to edit this out.
The point was that like time spent on something is not directly shown, or it's not like the success.
Something is not directly proportional to how much time you spend on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or how much of your own soul you put into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because when you're making music, when you're writing a story, when you're playing guitar, you're not just doing something technical. You are. It takes technical ability to write, to play a guitar, to write a digital piece of music. It takes a lot of theory and skill. But the other element that makes it interesting, that makes your writing interesting, Randy, or that makes your music interesting, Brad, is that you're putting a piece of yourself into it.
Yeah.
And it can, you're 100% right, Brandon. I'm not saying you're wrong, but it can be so disheartening when something that you didn't put any of yourself into eclipses what you put your own love into.
Yeah, like what you wish, the
I'm
stuff
not-
you wanted
Yeah.
to.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but I can see how that would be super, super.
Oh, yeah.
Just soul crushing.
Like a
Absolutely.
slap in the
Yeah.
face for some people,
Yeah.
for sure.
I forgot to mention, I write.
Yeah.
I do an
you
absurd amount of writing. I do a lot of world building, is what I like to do.
That's something I can't do.
Really?
World building.
As one my weak point in
Why?
writing.
What do you?
I love world building.
I just don't have the imagination for it.
Oh.
I really don't. I really don't have the I focus on character and everything about character.
See,
like
we've talked about this because I always urge you to like play Minecraft and stuff. Like I've always wanted to like start up a Minecraft server with
Be
a
so
bunch
much
What
fun.
about
man.
Junk Monkey's Minecraft server?
And
Boom. Second video.
and Randy, you've always been apprehensive about it because Minecraft is essentially literally all it is a world building game.
Minecraft is a channel for your own imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
It's
just
so good.
you just get dropped in there. There's really no direction.
No,
When
there
you jump
is
in,
no direction.
There's just
Period.
like, here you go.
Here's
figure
a
it out,
literal
man.
blank
Have fun.
slate.
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, Noah, you're.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was basically all I had to say.
No.
You should play Minecraft.
You play Minecraft. I was bringing up world building. Shout out to Cassandra Gertzen. She, when we were kids, she would take a story, like a notebook or like an art book, and she would create books or like create worlds, and you would flip to pages to go to like the next
That's so cool.
area.
Like choose your own story.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
she like, oh, you go this way, then you flip to the
Page
eighth
49.
page,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And
That's
she had a
so
lot.
cool.
Those were so fun as kids.
She had a lot of fun doing that, and even now, I guess she's still writing and everything like that. She was a big character builder and all that stuff. I just wanted to bring up that world building can be something small as putting grass in a notebook and saying go to page 3, and then there's a house. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I guess yeah, that's true. It's just like when I think of world building, I think of like the political system. That
Yes.
play,
Yeah.
Yes.
and,
I
like,
love
the
doing that.
tribes and the factions and shit like that. Like
And you
I
don't-
can't do that.
Really?
Yeah, I
do
don't
we-
have. I have such like blinders on when I'm writing.
Yeah.
I focus so hard on like what is Jack's like progression? How are we getting him from here to being somebody who is closed off and doesn't want to talk to people and doesn't need help to accepting help and asking for it at the end of the story.
So you're really focusing on the character's progression in the actual story,
Yeah.
as opposed to the development of the character that might not be actually explicitly expressed in the story, but that could be inferred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When are we collabing?
I want to.
I feel like our writing styles, because I'm not great at that.
Yeah.
I can, but I'm not great at it.
I've never had a writing partner, so I wonder how that process would go with me, where I'd be like, well, no. You know.
You stupid idea. He can't have 4 arms, Noah.
That goes against his backstory.
oh, Randy Bobandy.
Hey.
What's
Yeah.
your hobbies going
Yeah.
on, Rand?
Oh, man.
Let's hear about him. Nice hat, by the way.
Thank you. I love this hat.
It's a good hat.
This is my favorite hat.
It's like
Dripped out Rand.
yeah.
Typically, I don't give a shit about hats. I wear a fucking like paddock drilling hat. Shout out to my uncle.
A what?
What?
Paddock
What?
drilling.
Paddock drilling?
Paddock?
Yeah.
What is that?
That's just the name of it.
What it kind of what?
It's like
It's a drilling company.
like an
Look-
oil field.
Like
Oh.
PADDOCK.
Okay, make sure. It's
Anyway.
really confusing.
So we talked about this last time we did this episode, but obviously people haven't heard that.
I have.
I love hobbies that have to do with stories. I've realized that that's my connective tissue between all of them.
That's the thing.
That's the thing. That's the thing I'm looking for whenever I do something.
You're a sucker for stories.
And that's why I can't replay a game like that, or like I can't. Maybe
The one that
that's
has no
why I
direction?
don't love Minecraft. Is that
there is no story.
there's no story. I remember playing Sea of Thieves back when it was the beta, and like hopping in there, I was like, so I'm supposed to make
What am
my
I
own
doing?
fun.
What's
like,
my motivation here?
well, yeah, there was nothing pushing me forward. Yeah, you can drop me into a place and I'll be like, oh, this is cool. Like,
They-
let me fuck around in here for a little while, but
they
it's not. It's,
expected your motivation to be money.
yeah.
At some point, you want something to push you forward.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what a great narrative does.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep seeing that in so many so many games. Like when a game decides to add a story to it, basically you never hear a review that talks about a game and doesn't mention the story or lack thereof. You never hear that because it's always like the narrative in this game was great. The gameplay may not have held up, but let me tell you, the narrative will hold up. You know.
Just a sidebar for you, Randy.
Please.
There is a new story game that I heard of that came out called Stray. I don't know if you
Yes.
The kitty cat game.
Yeah, I haven't.
Sam has been playing it. She loves it.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard it's really, really good. So
Yeah.
maybe that
Yeah,
could be your
great things.
nice little story punch.
Let me add it to the fucking pile, bro.
I was about to say. I was about to add it.
Put
to
it in
your
the backlog.
50. Yeah.
And that's not to say I won't play fucking like Sea of Thieves doesn't have a story, but we
Not
have
yet.
fun digging around in it. You know,
That's
does have a
that's the
story.
point of it, though.
yeah.
Sea of Thieves does have some story.
It's there. It's story
that
light.
you can do.
But
Yeah.
there's nothing like there's no like set quest line.
Well, there's no
You
slide.
can sail off at any point.
I feel like in Sea of Thieves, at least when you play it with a group, it's not necessarily you're following a story. It's
Yeah.
more that you're creating a story.
Exactly.
Totally. The things we talk about later at work, where it's like, oh fuck, remember last night when Noah we locked him in the brig and we scuttled the ship.
Sunk the ship on me.
Does that actually happen?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
See, there's the story. You know,
That's
yeah.
that's a really interesting point because I feel like that's what I feel like I have a hard time playing games like that. I couldn't get through Last of Us because I felt constricted.
Really?
I didn't like how hard I was being driven down a very specific path. I know that's the point, and I get that it's a good story.
That's the railroadiness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I didn't like I want to go over here. Well, you can't. Huh. like in the games I play, I can go anywhere and do anything, and even if there isn't a story, I can do anything I want, right? That's the point of DayZ, of Terraria, of Minecraft, and I legitimately felt claustrophobic, not legitimately, but I felt constricted playing The Last of Us.
Did the player agency of making choices in The Walking Dead season 1, because you were allowed to make some choices, even though you will end up around the same point at the end of the game?
But that's the thing, you won't in a lot of in some of the circumstances. They did a better in season 1. Yeah, you wind up in the same boat.
I think
at the end of season 2, I'm sorry, Brad.
Very different.
No,
I'm sorry. I want to finish this
point.
point.
Get in your train.
But at the end of season 2, there are a lot of endings.
Oh yeah.
That's what I liked about the Telltale games, though, is that even though it was a weird juxtaposition for me, because even though I was being put down a path that I didn't necessarily choose, I got to choose small things along the way that helped influence the end destination.
Yeah.
And in the end of season 2, I got an ending that it was like, only 4% of players got this ending. I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
I felt good about that.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting point, because that game straddles the line between open world, do whatever you want, and like Last of Us, you're going down a very set path.
Very linear.
So
yeah.
So I can lean into those like middling games. I don't like those super
Not all the way.
No, yeah.
I see what you mean.
I'm sorry, Brad. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say something stupid. Don't worry
decisions
about it.
Sorry.
You like to still have decisions that make it feel like
You have control.
you have control, and those decisions matter and change.
And for me, I love both. I'm not going to say like, I prefer this one over this one, like fucking bawling my goddamn eyes out at the end of season 2 of The Walking Dead. Like, oh my God, it hurt.
Which ending did you get?
I got Kenny.
Like
Good Kenny, but also sad Kenny.
like left?
yeah.
Like she did she go in?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that is a sad
it's a
fucking
sad
ending.
ending.
No spoilers.
No
That
spoilers.
was really well. You guys
Yeah,
straddled
I
a
just
lot
had to
there.
think about it. I'm like,
No, it's like, God damn it. I
Did
I
can't.
she
know
go
exactly what it is, because
You've watched it?
a long time ago. I watched like
Yeah.
all the endings for Walking
Yeah,
Dead.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was like super late at night. I was like,
Sure.
yeah, I wonder what all the endings are.
come with me.
Yeah. Shit hurt.
Yeah. It's a great ending though. I did
So-
not get that ending.
So like, yeah. So, sorry to go back to the original question of what are your hobbies, Brand? Reading, writing, watching media, basically it, and playing media.
You could combine watching media into a single one. Watching media.
So like, I gravitate towards things that tell me something, or basically I was talking to Shane at work about like, I watched The Power of the Dog, and he was like, how'd you think, because I liked it, what do you think about it? I'm like, basically I kind of, whenever I watch a movie, I grade it on what it made me feel.
Yeah.
What did this movie make me feel? And if it didn't make me feel anything, you did not make a good movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I get what you're saying.
and that's subjective to me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you made a boring movie, then I'm not going to feel anything. Right?
I do find like definitely there's movies I watch, and I'm such a sucker when it comes to movies. Like I'll finish a movie, I'm like,
Yeah.
but video games don't hit me like that. Like
Really?
in story video games, I'm never like, that's just sad as fuck.
Oh man.
To be honest, I think there was like a few obviously get me, like the first Last of Us. I was like,
Yep.
but it's like it's not nearly as much as a movie. Like I can watch a movie and just walk out with a different mindset.
Yeah.
From when I walked in, or a different perspective at least.
I think the key difference there is the casual nature of a video game versus I am in a movie theater and I need to watch this.
Yeah.
And while that can change if you're streaming it or watching it on Netflix or whatever, if you're in a movie theater and you are solely focused on one thing and like there aren't a million other things trying to grab your attention, then yeah, you're going to be way more invested in it.
Even books are like that a lot for me. I read, or I guess I listened to, because I'm at work, so I just look up audiobooks. I listened to The Alchemist. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one.
Oh, Brad, I love The Alchemist.
Such a good
No
book.
way.
Yeah, no, so I did that the other day, and I was like, this is like mind-boggling, mind-opening,
So
crazy. 10 out of 10, recommend to anyone else if you haven't. And now I'm listening to this Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, which is a great book as well.
Hell yeah.
And I feel like that type of media, like movie, reading a book, I can get a little more emotional punch in the throat with it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Where video games just don't grab me by the balls like that.
There's been many games that have made me cry. Like, I remember I almost teared up playing The Outer Wilds, and that's not like an emotional game.
Yeah.
But it was an emotional experience.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is a completely different thing,
Yeah, totally.
but equally as valid,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, because you did tell a great narrative.
Yeah.
that wasn't supposed to be a tearjerker, but it was just the beauty of it, you know. So yeah, basically like my hobbies, like, and that I'm not gonna fucking like only say that I only do hobbies that have stories, you know, but it's you could tie a story to anything.
That's true.
Like I'm very into cooking right now. I love the
literally
idea
about
of
to
cooking,
say.
but like there's a story behind everything you make. Like, hey, I learned how to make this omelet by watching this video. That's a story. That's something I can tell somebody when I'm making you this omelet, and then you eat it, and you're like, "Fuck yeah, this omelet, bro."
Hey, by the way,
Or like you remember, like even just eating food. There's so many stories around eating food.
Yeah.
Hey, I went to this restaurant and I had the best fucking cookie dessert I've ever had in my goddamn life at Disney World.
and then that sparks a conversation.
Totally.
Because of the story, because of the narrative you experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think taste is just a whole nother way to experience things as well. Obviously.
Yeah.
Flavor is.
It's another descriptor.
immaculate. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Last of Us didn't taste very good. Shit tasted like disc.
That's why Dan didn't finish the game.
Blech.
He was licking.
The
He was like,
plastic
"Ah."
was
Yeah.
disgusting.
Not a fan.
No.
Noah, are we
Please.
moving on?
Yeah, please.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we're not done. What kind of hobbies are you talking about there, bud?
Hardcore parkour.
Kind
This
of
guy just parkours
hobbies
everywhere.
am I going to talk about?
Scuba dive.
I'm going to talk about how like it was difficult for me on the last recording. On
What
the
last recording?
Yeah. Going into the first time we recorded this, it was very difficult for me to actually like think of hobbies.
Like narrow it down.
Well, just even like think of things that I would call as hobbies
Yeah.
for me. And I think that was because I always had the issue that we talked about earlier where you were always comparing yourself to somebody else in the thing. And what I always did is I'd be interested in something, and then as I'm like exploring the hobby and stuff and learning more and like seeing videos and stuff online, I'm projecting myself onto these other people, seeing what they're capable of doing, and I'm not immediately capable of doing that. So I'm just like, okay, clearly they're calling what they're doing a hobby, and I can't achieve what they're doing.
I don't get to call it
so
that.
I don't get to
Yeah.
claim this as like a hobby of mine.
Yeah.
And that's just not the way things are. Like you can claim anything as a hobby if you've done it.
Do you do it? Do you like enjoying doing it? Well, it's a hobby.
Yeah. If you enjoy doing something,
It makes sense though.
yeah. If you enjoy doing something, fuck it, it's a hobby. You don't have to keep up to it for 20 years like other people do.
You don't have to do it daily.
No, you could have done it once 5 years ago. Call it a hobby.
Yep.
It's something you knew how to do.
Or
Like
at very
just-
least an interest.
Yeah, exactly. Scuba diving is still a hobby of mine. I haven't done it since we graduated.
It's because we live in Manitoba, man. Where are you
Yeah,
gonna
we
go
live
skydiving?
in
landlocked.
Manitoba.
You got
We
moved
are-
to Nova Scotia.
We got
Let
a
me
lot
tell
of-
you. Let
we
me
got-
tell you.
We got a lot of lakes though. You could, you know,
scuba diving,
Yeah,
slough
you
in
could
the
die.
back.
Exactly.
You won't be able to
so, like,
see shit. Algae everywhere.
disgusting. You hear the toxic algae outbreak? Oh fuck.
Oh, algae blooms, terrifying. Anyways, that's a whole nother
Sequel to the
Another
thing.
podcast
Sequel to the
episode.
bloomin' onion.
where we just talk about
Algae.
algae.
yeah.
But yeah, like
2 views.
scuba diving,
2 billion views.
working on cars, D&D. I'm super into right
Yeah.
now because I actually have a group that I'm able to play with, and it sounds like I might have another group that I'm going to be able to play with.
That's great. Finding a group is always the
Yeah.
hardest part.
Well, and like another thing is different avenues of D&D, because it's not just like group
Yeah.
party. You can do other things. You can do video games, which is another hobby that I'm super into. So games like Divinity Original Sin 2. Right now I'm playing through Baldur's Gate, the
Ooh.
pre-release of it, and I'm loving it because all of that ties into like the grand theme of just like D&D as a hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just stuff like that. I'm getting into lawn care right now. I have a house, so I have to do like lawn
Fuck
care
yeah,
and stuff.
Noah. Fuck yeah.
oh, Noah, the homeowner.
Yeah, I have a house now, so now I have to do things like lawn care, which
You now husbandry is now a hobby of yours.
yeah, like when I lived with my parents, like my dad would ask me to do chores and stuff, which would be like mowing the lawn and stuff. I dreaded it. It was
Yeah.
so
It
boring.
sucks.
No.
Now it's like something that's like I'm putting myself into this. Like this is something that's going to reflect what I put into it.
Yeah.
So I care more about it.
Do you get a rewarding sense when you look at that mowed lawn and you're like, I did that?
Those diagonal lines go so
I
hard.
mowed the lawn for the first time, and I literally like stopped it, turned off the mower and everything, and I just looked back at it. I felt
Yeah.
proud.
You're proud,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Because like I get to see what I put into it.
Yeah.
And it's just lawn care. It's just
Lawn-
mowing the lawn.
Lawn
It-
dads
it's-
unite, bro.
It's so cool that little simple things like that can kick back such a rewarding sense of like, I'm the fucking goat right
Yep.
now, dog.
Well, it's like I mowed the lawn. It's like, oh, that felt really good. And then I look deeper into it, and you see the fine detail. And it's like, okay, now I need to trim under
Yeah.
the fence.
then you get
and then-
sucked into the rabbit hole of lawn
Yeah,
care.
Yeah.
trimmed up the fence and was like, that ivy's getting a little overgrown. So I brought out the shears and I started cutting ivy down. It's like, oh, I got this stone path and I got like stuff growing through it. I got to kill that stuff to make the
I don't have the right
pathway
tools.
look
I gotta
nice.
go buy these tools.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of stuff with that. Being able to do it on your own, I think, is the fun part. Like, I hate cleaning the house, but I love having a clean room.
Yeah.
Like, I walk into my room
Because it's
this
your
shit
space.
looks sick as fuck,
Yeah.
man.
It's something that you can show people and like nobody's gonna
Care.
nobody's gonna
They're
care.
gonna
Like,
see it
you
and be
you
like,
go
"Oh,
to
that's
other
right."
people's places and you see their lawn and everything, just like, yeah, that's a lawn.
Like if I walked into Brad's house and he was like, "Look at my clean ass room," I'd be like,
Okay.
Congratulations. Man. You can
Where's
push a
your
vacuum.
guitar?
"Good for you, I give me your
It's that,
fucking guitar."
It's that what's the word I'm thinking of?
Righteousness.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
No, I can't think of the word.
Self-actualization.
Yeah, sort of. It's that self-rewarding, I guess.
I don't know what I said.
You said self-actualization.
I know what I said, but I don't know what I.
You just said you
meant.
didn't
Don't know what it
Yeah.
means.
Okay.
I don't
I'm
know.
just talking over here.
Yeah.
It's just the reward that's not going to go to anybody else but you.
Yeah.
It's that selfish reward.
Totally.
And like just doing that lawn care stuff once. Now I'm into like growing succulents and stuff.
You're like
I'm
looking
going
up
on like
YouTube videos.
I'm going on like Etsy and stuff, looking up like
Ooh.
all these like fancy
Shout out to Etsy.
like succulents and stuff. And now I wanna like print little ramen boxes
Yeah.
as pots because I thought that would be cool.
Then you're gonna get into that
Gardening.
rabbit hole, and then you're gonna start painting, and then
Exactly.
it's just gonna take you further.
all this stuff just leads into different
exactly,
things.
and it's all connected.
It
at
all
the end.
branches out, and it's all stuff that you can just say, "Fuck yeah, that's a hobby of mine."
Wouldn't that be cool
I
to-
did this.
Wouldn't that be cool to make a kind of like a flow chart? But I'm thinking more like a skill tree in a game where it's like you started with this hobby, but then it branched off to this
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
which branched off to that one,
Like a
which branched.
timeline.
Yeah, that'd be
sick
cool.
to see a timeline of your own hobbies.
Yeah,
Maybe when you're dead.
that's.
I
man,
hope there's
I
something
have.
Oh,
a,
boy.
I've always had this weird thing where I'm like, what
I
if you
wonder if you
die
do
and you get a
stats.
stat list?
That'd be cool.
How fucking
I
rad
would,
would that be?
I would love
You'd
to
be
look at
like,
something
man,
like
I
that.
sucked at guitar.
You
Bro, I
suck
only
for this
made
many
$200,000 total.
Dude, I only made it to level 4 out of 1,000. Like, what? I thought I was nuts.
What does that mean?
Top 70% in playing guitar.
New Game Plus is just rebirth.
Oh, can you imagine New Game Plus real life? Real life is a roguelike. It's just-
It's like Spotify end of the year chart, except for your life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when we had that conversation about how fucking stupid the Spotify charts are? Oh, your top genre this year was bubble grunge. What the fuck are you saying to me? I forgot about I'm sorry, Noah. What's up?
I also
Share
want to
your
go back
cord.
to being burnt out because you can definitely get burnt out of
You can burn out
work.
anything.
You can burn out of hobbies too.
Yeah.
Burn out of life, man. You can just be like,
Um,
I don't want to. I'm just gonna chill in my bed today.
Yeah.
Some nights
'Cause-
like that for sure.
Because I did make that mistake where like you didn't properly balance your hobbies and your work. Because one of my hobbies that I didn't realize was a hobby was just working on cars. I enjoyed working on cars on my own time and everything, but as soon as there was like pressure to work on cars and stuff, that's when it immediately just like
Wasn't a hobby anymore. It was work.
flipped a switch and I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this if I'm being forced to do this.
That is a huge thing there. It's like sometimes you get home and you're like, I'm going to do the dishes.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you want to.
Yeah.
And then someone's like, can you do the dishes? And you're like,
Absolutely
no,
not.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
fucking lutely
That
not.
happens to me all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go
'Cause-
clean the kitchen. You walk upstairs. Can you do the dishwasher? I'm like, no, I'm going back.
Not anymore.
I changed my mind.
Because that is something that happened
Yeah.
to me. Because like I said, I enjoy working on cars. Like when I can do it on my own time and I can see the reward of something that's happening to my vehicle, and knowing that that is something that I have the knowledge to do, and I got to see the final product of it. That's awesome. So what ended up happening is I went to school for it,
For automotive.
for automotive
Automotive.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
For
to be a-
cars.
Be a mechanic.
Yeah.
Do kart thing.
And I did that, and then I had to do my practicum, which was like actually working in a shop with time restraints, with customers and stuff like that. And I did that for a month, and I was like, wow, I really don't like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because of that, I got extremely burnt out of working on cars. Like, I took my car to the mechanic the other day, and I essentially got charged $380 for something that didn't even fix my car. So I got pissed off, and then I fixed it myself. And I was like, I remember why I enjoyed working on this, because I saved so much money on not going
very
to the
practical.
mechanic.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that was a great thing, because I still attained like all that professional knowledge through school and stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to have that forever,
Yes,
basically.
and I'm gonna have that forever to help me out. But it just sucks that it took a whole year of schooling to know that all that was just a hobby. It wasn't anything that could expand farther than that.
But that you wanted to.
That's always
okay.
yeah. I mean, like that's always the risky thing of like, well, you're always told like in high school like, what do you want to do with your life?
Yeah. Fuck
We talked about that, but
Yeah.
then it's like, well, I don't know. Well, what are you interested in? What what are your hobbies?
One thing that always stuck in my head is, if you enjoy your work, then you never actually work a day in your life.
Yeah.
So I've always tried to associate things that I enjoy with methods of making money.
Right.
And a lot of the time,
How do I monetize this?
Yeah, exactly. How do I monetize working on cars? And that's a very easy one to do.
Yeah.
But then it is that risk that you're going to
Hate it after a while.
you're going to hate it after a while,
Yeah.
or you're going to spend so much money on it just to realize that it was better to stay as just a hobby.
Yeah.
Well, I've even weirdly bringing up a different podcast, but like I was hearing like the Misfits podcast where they're talking about like they're YouTubers and they're all YouTube, and like one guy was like, yeah, I just have no drive to upload right now. Like it's like some days when you're making videos, doing all this stuff, it's like they loved doing it before, and then it was like now it's a job. Now I
Yeah.
have to do this every week, and
Now
I'm
it's
sitting here for
scheduled,
4
now
hours
I'm
a day
forced to do
editing.
it.
Yeah, and it's just like a completely different look.
Yeah.
But I don't think going to school for a year to find out you don't want to do something for the rest of your life is necessarily a bad thing.
No, and
I think it's a great thing, honestly.
It was, but at the same time, because of that, like my parents would be like, "You sure you don't want to do this? You sure you don't want to do this?" And I was
Yeah.
like,
Pressure
"No,
you.
I am very sure that all this interest is just as a hobby.
Yeah.
It's something I enjoy doing. It's not something I want to be pressured to do."
It's passive versus active.
Yes.
Like interest in something, right? Like you're passively interested in cars.
Yeah.
Like you are not actively 24/7, not 24/7, but like 7 days or 5 days.
Jesus Kringo.
24/5.
5 days a week, 8 hours a
84/6.
day. Like yeah.
Yeah. So, and that kind of all ties back to like hobbies. Take your time with them.
Yeah.
Don't rush into them, because that's what I did, and
That's it. You did that. I did that.
yeah.
It killed my interest in it. Like,
And I rushed into it over the course of like 3 years, because
Yeah.
I did a bunch of work on cars 2 years prior, and then I did the 1
when you
year
went to school.
of
and-
it.
Yeah.
So like, just take your time with it. Rushing into it doesn't necessarily mean that you did it all in the first month. It can mean that you did it all in 5 years, and it took you 5 years to realize that all it is just a hobby.
And not rushing into it doesn't mean that you're not doing a good job at it.
No, that is also true.
If you're getting some sense of self satisfaction out of it, if you're having fun, if you're enjoying it, you're doing it correctly.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. And that's really hard to do sometimes. But once you learn that, the hardest part is learning that.
Yes.
Once you it's just like music. Once you learn that you have to step back sometimes and go, am I pacing myself correctly? You can apply that to any hobby, and it just gets easier from there.
I was thinking about hobbies while you guys were talking, and everyone's sharing their hobbies. I'm getting a visualization of like a stat chart, like to bring up like a bars, like a line of like bars, and yours is like music is all the way over here, and then it's like writing, and then like dun 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 dun. And I don't know. I was just thinking about it. It's kind of cool.
I've actually thought about that, but in terms of like Sims skills, because I didn't talk about that, but I play a lot of Sims. I have collectively probably like 4,000 or 5,000 hours across all my Sim games. I play a lot of Sims, from Sims 2 to 3 to 4, and waiting for Sims 5, bitch. But
Never.
like,
Only more DLC.
I mean, Sims 4 is a good game.
Go to space for the third time.
As much as people want to rag on Sims 4, it's a good game. But they get to like level 10 in their skills, right? It's like you've mastered that skill. So I like to think, because the smaller you make your scale, the harder it is to like, because it sounds
To progress.
it sounds but it sounds better in my mind to say, oh, maybe I'm level 30 at guitar out of 100. But then if I say, well, maybe what if am I level 3 out of 10? That sounds way too low. 30 out of 100 sounds higher than 3 out of 10,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Yeah.
But so like, what level are we? Like, am I level?
What kind of scale are you going to give yourself?
Exactly, right? But so I'd like to think, like, when I think of it at Sims, it's like, what Sims guitar level am I at? Am I at level 4? I can't be at level 4. Then I'm thinking, who's at level 10? Okay, Tommy Emmanuel, John Mayer, right?
Yeah.
Who's at level 5? Maybe I am at level 4. But then I start doubting myself, and then it's just a whole like, who the fuck am I?
And I get angry and I
You
play
start-
more music.
Yeah.
You start chipping yourself down. But
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing is like you'll be playing. Sorry, not playing, but like you'll be doing your hobbies. At no point should you think to yourself like, "Man, I'm not good enough at this thing that I'm interested in," or like, "I'm not good enough at this hobby." It's like there's no like
you,
There's
pressure.
no
You are-
metric to measure yourself.
There's
by.
not,
You are
and there's no person being like, "You're
unnecessarily-
not good enough at this hobby yet, bro."
Other than yourself.
Yeah.
And even though you're right, it's so goddamn easy to feel that way.
you are unnecessarily comparing yourself.
But we all do it.
Yeah.
Every single person
Because
does
it's
it.
so easy to do it.
And I think it's because, and going back to the original point that we were talking about at the beginning of the episode,
Oh, we're wrapping it up.
yeah, full circle here. When we were talking about that, I was thinking about if back before the internet, okay, instead of like YouTube videos like showing you the best of the best,
Yeah, yeah.
where would you see people playing guitar?
It would be like in your friend group, or if
Your
you
friend
go to,
group.
you go to a guitar thing.
Exactly, or like a recital hall or something.
Like
They're not the best of the best.
Yeah, it was so much harder back then to see anyone who was super
Totally.
You were never, if you wanted to see the best of the best, you had to go to a concert. And even then, they probably weren't going to be the best of the best.
Yeah, and I think
Oh, that's
Yeah.
social media made a big impact on that, or like seeing like the whole internet thing is like a huge, but like maybe they didn't get introduced to as many interests though.
Well, and sometimes
another
you
thing.
just shouldn't look things up if you're interested in them.
Yeah, just run on it.
learn for
Okay.
yourself.
I mean, some things you gotta. But
Some things you have to. Another hobby of mine that I would consider is like water sports.
Yeah.
I have never looked up. I have never looked up on the internet
Yeah,
water
People
sports.
do insane things on kneeboards. I looked it up one
Oh, yeah,
time.
no.
Dude will like
has
do
them.
a
Don't-
backflip, bounce off his back, and then do another backflip. I'm like,
That's
this is
great.
outrageous.
I'm never gonna look that up.
Guess what? Noah sees that. And he's like, "Fuck! I don't like
Dude,
water
I'm
sports
never
anymore
gonna
because
do
I'm never
water
gonna reach that height."
I feel like it's a little bit different though because
Oh, for sure. It's
you're not
definitely a little
looking to do backflips.
You're looking
Backflips
at-
No,
with
but I'm.
water sports,
But
right?
like I love kneeboarding.
Kneeboarding's fun
It's
as fuck.
probably one of my favorite water sports. The only way I learned how to do that was from other people teaching me.
Yeah.
So I got to see how they did it,
Mhm.
and then I learned from somebody who is not the best.
Mhm.
So like now kneeboarding, I can get up by myself perfectly fine. Like jumping over the wake and stuff, I can do that because like that's something that I just organically learned to do myself. I didn't see anybody else do it. Kneeboarding backwards. There was a few years ago I stood up on a kneeboard by myself for the first time, and that was all just trial and error.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't look up somebody else's tutorial on how they learned how to
The
do
wiki
it.
how.
I learned how to do it my way.
Yeah.
That's a
And-
thing I do a lot. Sorry, are you done?
Yeah. yeah
Okay.
yeah.
All right, shut up.
Sorry, I was literally
Fuck off, sorry, that was
Are you
rude.
done flapping
Are
your
you-
mouth? Or?
That was rude.
I don't want
sorry.
to hear about kneeboarding.
I find I do that though with hobbies is I try to find the way to streamline it and do it the best of the best way.
Yeah.
Even in video games, I'm like, oh, what's the best way to level up my character?
The best
Like that.
combo.
Yeah, and it's like, who
Oh, I
gives
mean,
a
Max.
fuck, man? It's like I always lose interest after I do that. I feel like you should just organically learn and figure out what you want to do on your own.
I feel like you're 100% right. I feel like it depends on the person though.
Yeah, some
because
people, I guess.
I like that. I when it comes to like, I know it might not come across in the games I play, but like I'm a technical player when it comes to video games. I don't like not min-maxing.
Yeah, yeah.
It feels bad to me. So I will look up the way to do it best. I get an extreme amount of personal satisfaction in getting the most efficient way to level up from 0 to 100 smithing in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Like, and if I'm not, I don't feel like doing it. Like, just whatever, who cares? But
Stabbing a monk in the back with a butter knife for 3 hours.
just get my one-handed up.
Sneak go
but
off.
you're 100% right, and then that's a way that if you want to do it that way, you should, because
Yeah.
who cares what anybody else thinks?
I think a takeaway that I would recommend for people is see how much you can learn organically by yourself, and then once you get stuck,
Yeah.
then see how other people are doing.
Don't just slam your head against the wall,
No.
Yeah.
continuously expecting things to change.
It's so interesting because like as I know we're starting to wrap up on time, but like it's interesting because growing up through school, we have been taught that internet and YouTube and stuff like that is a resource to use. It is something that, hey, if you need information quickly,
You can learn so much.
look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy, right? But I feel like that was a bit of a monkey paw situation where, yeah, that's great. You have an encyclopedia of knowledge at all times,
But now you're relying on it.
but you're relying on it and you're being shown the best of the best things.
Yeah.
And like chess, okay? You're playing chess. When I play chess, Mike wanted to get into chess and we were playing it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, yo, I saw some sick shit on fucking like TikTok and YouTube or whatever, and like how people like will play like
Do the opening this way or whatever.
insane plays, right? You know, top 10
I'm
crazy
thinking
plays.
40 moves in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've never looked up anything about chess. I just enjoy fucking moving the pawns around and like at no point do I care whether or not like, oh fuck, I did the king's gamble or whatever. like
the Queen's Gambit. is
or
that
sure.
Nah, King's Gamble.
Yeah.
You ever heard about that one?
Yeah, I'm sure that's something.
it? I'm sure.
Oh,
so.
fuck. He's using the Altarian Scotch opening. I am fucked.
Exactly. But like I don't care.
No.
I'm just having like because I'm not playing against the best of the best. I am not the best of the best. Let's just have fun.
Yeah,
that's another.
exactly.
Get in the kitchen and make something because it's fun.
Yeah, that's
I-
another.
I was-
Oh,
You want to...
I'll go
Rock,
quick.
paper,
Yeah.
scissors.
That's another example of like media doing something because I know Mike fell in love with chess right after we watched Queen's Gambit.
Queen's Gambit, yeah.
He watched it. He was like, "Fuck, chess is sick."
And that's great.
Yeah.
Let media absolutely inspire you to check out some certain things. Something about space? Hell yeah. Now I'm interested in space.
word.
You know? Time dilation and fucking light year? What the hell is time dilation? Let me look into that. That's not a hobby, but that's something interesting. Dan.
Well, time dilation. No. I feel your point though about Brad was like punching the air and shit. Your point about like you got to be careful when you're looking stuff online because you're comparing yourself to the best of the best. It doesn't apply to everything though.
No.
Like when I look up cooking videos, I don't care about the person's skill level, even if I'm watching a Gordon Ramsay tutorial, which I never would because he's not a good YouTube instructor. It's not what he does, in my opinion. I watch Binging with Babish.
Me too.
Because he's a novice. He's not a professional cook. At no point in his life, he was a line cook for one day, then he quit. At no point in his life has he been a professional chef. So
Yeah.
I watch him because I enjoy
It's more relatable.
I enjoy the fact that he's not. It's not perfect. When he fucks it up, he's like, "Hey, by the way, here's what I burned my butter.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You'll wind up with clarified butter in the bottom of your mashed potatoes. You got to cook it slow." And he shows you the failures.
he's not emanating that he's superior.
That being said, when I do watch some videos from other like J. Kenji Lopez Alt, has anyone heard of him? No. He's like a food scientist. He's a professional chef. He's really, really good. I don't care that he's showing me a tutorial, and I don't care that he's infinitely better at cooking than me. He's a food scientist. Like
That's
but
his job.
But it doesn't matter to me. So I'm not 100% on board with like comparing yourself to the person because it's not always that metric. You know what I mean? I'm gonna watch a J. Kenji Lopez all. Sometimes you need that.
Yep.
Sometimes you want someone who's way better than you do, like cooking. I don't want
To show you what's possible.
like just for an example, I'm not gonna go to Brad for like I'm not gonna go to you guys for cooking and like
No.
I'm gonna go to a YouTube video because in some instances that's not an insult on you guys. I'm sure you're all good cooks, but because sometimes the fucking look that Randy just gave Noah, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker.
We were literally
Have you tried my omelet?
Sometimes you want someone who's way better than you.
Yeah.
And it's not just cooking. Sometimes it extends into other things. But both points are correct, I think.
Honestly, I feel like we could go on for another
Yeah, I
hour
feel like
about this.
we gotta stop at some point.
No,
It all depends on the person, honestly.
Yeah, because I would
exactly.
disagree with you a little bit on the Gordon Ramsay thing, but we can save that.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, well,
made a
well, there's a
sick
difference.
burger
Like
from Gordon Ramsay.
the really popular burger video,
Yeah.
he doesn't explain shit. But then he has tutorials where he does explain stuff.
Watch that. Made the most banging burger of my life.
I'm still not going to go to Gordon Ramsay for any of his tutorials.
yeah, I go. Yeah,
I will.
I
I,
go to
like to
watch
watch
him
his.
yell at people.
I don't like his American content. His European content is so much better because he doesn't scream and yell, and I don't.
yeah,
find
but he
it-
knows what American audiences wants.
Yeah, that's the
so-
point. Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
anyway. Thank you so much for listening to this.
Oh
episode of
fuck!
the
What?
show.
What the fuck is your problem?
No, at the end of the day, I think like some main takeaways here. You don't have to monetize your hobby. You don't have to make a career out of your hobby.
You don't.
You can if you,
really want to, yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I'd like to,
Exactly.
but you don't have to.
you don't have to.
You probably won't actually.
Second thing,
No, get off your phone.
no, you can.
No.
I don't know. I like just like there. At no point is a hobby going to expire.
No, and that's the thing. It's like it's a long-term thing. So
Yeah.
just run it, man. Just run it at your own
If you
pace.
want it to be.
Yeah, just run it at your own pace. Quit if you want to quit.
Put
Don't
your
feel bad about
put your
it.
toe in the water, and if you hate it, take it right back out.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And
You
if
don't
you
give-
love it, you just throw your whole body in there.
Yeah.
You don't have to whiplash drummer it.
No.
No.
Oh, great movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Anyway, this has been our episode of the Hobbies.
The
episode.
Hobbit.
The Hobbit episode.
Hobbit episode.
Hobbit hardcore.
Hardcore Hobbit. The sequel to Hardcore Henry.
Hobbitcore.
I need to
It's
watch.
just hardcore Henry, but just from a slightly
A slightly
lower
shorter.
POV.
I gotta watch Hardcore. Has anyone watched Hardcore? Henry?
No.
I have.
I've heard it's good.
It's yeah.
I've heard it's fun.
It's fun.
If you gotta like suspend your critical,
It is.
because you're really limited from
Do
a
not.
first
Yeah. Do not go into this expecting like
Godfather levels of
no.
performances.
You know-
No. This whole thing hinges on first person.
It's almost like a video game. I watched a clip of it the other day. It's
It is.
almost like a video game.
It is.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Speaking of little things that I haven't watched that I want to. You remember that shotgun with a hobo with a shotgun movie?
Shotgun with a hobo.
Shotgun. You know what I'm talking? Murder hobo with a shotgun. It was some ad I saw so many times as a kid.
Brad had a
4
fever
times.
dream.
4 times, and I never watched the movie. I always thought it was so goofy. It was just a hobo with a shotgun. That was the entire premise of the movie.
I don't know what he's talking
I
about.
don't either.
Okay, I'll have to look it up.
All
after
right,
to show you
please, yeah.
guys.
We'll put it in the description.
Yeah.
So, everyone
Yeah.
listening,
Yeah. Oh well.
you are listening.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening.
Woo, thank you.
This has been another episode of the Drunk Monkeys podcast. I do want to shout out some people real quick, starting with our editor and music producer,
Whoa.
Daniel.
Whoa.
Whoa.
You hear that?
Wait.
Holy shit! Is that a slap and track?
That's not what I was expecting.
yeah.
Beat.
Whoa. Well, now you've just locked me into funky track 1 or 2. God damn it.
Damn it! I wanted to express some.
I wanted to use daydreaming and cloud gazing.
I can still do 6 beat.
What the fuck was that? I'm gonna cut that and send
Yeah,
it to
please
you.
do. I need that. But yeah, thank you, Dan. We really
Yeah.
appreciate everything you do for us for this project of ours. Guess what? We're getting close to 1,000 views total.
Are we?
Yeah.
Holy
Fucking
shrimp.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Only took
Big
80
brain in
episodes.
Isn't that wild? 20. Yeah, thank you. Speaking of those listens and views and thousands of views, thank you to the viewers.
Thank you,
listener.
Much
listener.
I know like a quarter of that total is probably our mothers, but like
Hey, that's the
Hey.
My mom still
Views
hasn't
are views,
listened to a
dog.
single
Views are
podcast
views.
of ours.
I killed my friend in Pavlov on the same team as me yesterday, and he asked me why I team killed him, and I said kills are kills.
no.
Pavlov's a great game.
That's so good.
It's super fun.
So yeah, thank you very much for listening, and we also want to shout out to our fantastic space that we work and play, making space thing.
Creation.
Yep, create the Creation
wanna-
Nation Makerspace.
Do you want to create a space, Randy?
Yeah, some days I do.
Well, you can do it right here.
Wait,
Yeah.
here?
Here.
Oh,
At the Creation Nation Makerspace.
what can I do to do that?
You can sign up. You can talk to Russ.
Okay.
No further
Just
instruction.
fucking Google
Just talk to
Creation
Russ.
Nation Makerspace. It's not hard.
Okay.
You'll find his number.
Find a
Also-
guy named Russ.
The Facebook link is in the description.
Description.
Yep. So we have a Discord channel.
Yay.
Please join it.
Noah, join the goddamn Discord.
I know.
There's a special
Okay.
role for the Junkos.
It's
Chunko Pop.
the link to that is an open invite in the description. The Junko Pop.
In the future, when we have trillions of views, we have Funko Pop collaboration called Junko Pop.
Hell yeah, dude.
And then we make a line of popsicles that go Junko Pops.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go under. We sell out.
They did not
We spread
sell.
ourselves far too thin across multiple businesses.
They're making popsicles and Funko Pop figurines and a podcast. and
Terrible.
They're on the, I saw them
They
on the
taste
side
terrible.
of a. I saw them on the side of a dump truck the other day. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
They own a garbage business.
Yeah, that's about it for my
Woo.
special thanks. So
Special thanks to Rand for hosting the episode.
Thanks,
Woo.
Randy.
Let's go, Randy.
Let's get an audible high five going. Oh, they heard that.
Hell
They
yeah.
heard that.
Hell yeah. And we should end with that. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you next episode. I don't know what it's going to be about.
Oh, I don't even know what it's gonna be. Just kidding. It's gonna be 2 weeks from when you're hearing this one.
All right.
Oh, yo.
See you later, everyone.
Goodbye.
Catch you on the flip
ya.
side.
Oh my